Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Kayo, and today we're going to be brewing some pretty old coffee. It's actually expired coffee, so if you want to see that, stick around. 23. Oops. So all the stuff that we do for Honeycomb, it's kind of a very varied group of things we do. We do the coffee and we do sneakers and reviews, stuff like that. We do streetwear. We also do street art and art projects, murals. It's kind of a big scope. And I'm actually out in one of the provinces this last 2 weeks working on one of those projects. And while I'm out here, I've been traveling and I've been staying in this nice little room in kind of like it's like a Airbnb house. And while I was out here, I brewed my coffee mostly with an AeroPress and a Porlex grinder. But our project actually extended a couple days because of our COVID protocols. And as a result, I ran out of coffee. But luckily, I did bring this drip bag from the Good Cup. This is the Ethiopia Kilenso Natural Heirloom drip bag from the Good Cup. Now, we actually did deliberately store this. They sent this to us over a year ago. I'm gonna say it was probably about 13, 14 months maybe ago. And we tasted all of the other drip packs. And I noticed that there was an expiry date on the back. It said 2021 08 23. I remember thinking, how good is that expiry date really? So we actually put this in the back of a cabinet in a cool, dry area and stored it for a year, deliberately thinking that we were going to drink it once it had expired. And now it has been exactly 1 month past the expiry date. And because I happened to be on this project, I brought it with me so I could make this video and taste it on the exact date. So I'm actually filming this on 2021, 1 month after this coffee has expired, supposedly based on the package. Now, I do know that the guys over at the Good Cup are doing a nitrogen flush for their bags, and the pressure in the bag is still there. The air inside, or the gases inside, have not leaked out of the bag. So the nitrogen that they flushed into the bag should still be in there and preserve the coffee pretty well. Oxygen is one of the number one things that degrades not just coffee but everything. Vegetables, dinosaurs. So they find fossils in places with low oxygen, right? Inside caves. And then in the bottom there are some tasting notes. I've been kind of moving away from the idea of tasting notes. But this one says notes of berries, candy, and citrus, which are very bright and acidic flavors, which you usually associate with fresh coffees, with relatively new coffees. So I wanted to know, how well does this stack up now that it's past its expiry date? To do that, we have a little brewing setup here. I have a nice cup here from Kinto. And let's brew the coffee, and I'll talk you through the process as we're brewing it. Okay, so for our brew today, we are going to be using the drip bag. And I'm going to open it up. Smell it. Some of that berry fragrance is still definitely there. And then you can see the drip bag is still very much intact. Now on the packet it says tear, pull out, brew with 150 ml of water in the coffee grounds, and then remove the filter and enjoy. So we are gonna do just that. I'm gonna rip off the top of the drip bag. Open that up. Oops. And set it right here on top of the cup. Give it a little shake. The instructions say to go to 150 ml of water. We're gonna reduce that and reduce the ratio. I am guessing that this is about 10 grams of coffee in here. So I'm gonna brew it at a 1:13 ratio. I'm gonna try and do that with 2 pours. And we're gonna do that with a basic, not quite a bloom, but more like a pre-infusion, where I actually really want for the for all of the coffee to be wet during the brewing process. So I'm making a little hole, little divot in the middle. I don't know if you can see that. So that the water goes in the middle. And yeah, so I'm gonna be doing 130 ml. So I'm just gonna drip water in until everything in there is wet. Measure how much that is. and then wait a bit before pouring the rest of our 130 ml. I'm guessing that's going to be about 40 ml. Our brewing temperature is going to be 80 degrees. We've lowered it because the coffee is older. That's a good thing to note. When you are brewing older coffee, use a lower temperature because the higher temperatures will be very aggressive and might bring out some of the more stale, woody flavors in our coffee. With that said, 80 degrees, let's brew our coffee. Starting my timer, very lightly. Already we're seeing some drip down out of the bag. I've got 20 grams in there. We're still not at full saturation. At around 30, we're starting to see some. Yeah, I think that's fully saturated. At 30 grams, that took about 40 seconds. And then now I'm gonna pour all the way up to 130 ml. Oh, only letting me go up to 102. So now we're gonna wait, let that drip down first through the coffee. Right, and then now we're gonna add the rest. And go up to 130 ml of water. So we're gonna let this drip down and actually sit inside the cup for up to about 4 minutes, believe it or not. I think that's gonna give us our best chance at getting a really good extraction from this coffee. Okay, so we're at about 4 minutes 35 seconds, and the coffee seems to still be coming out of the bottom of the drip bag. So there's still a little bit of slurry in there. It hasn't completely drained. So it looks like we're gonna stop at around 5 minutes, which is kind of the limit for how much you want to do kind of a percolation method. So I'm just gonna stop it at 5 minutes and pull out our coffee bag. Put it back in the packet. And the whole thing's gonna go in the bin. I don't know if I should have done that. I can't read the details of the coffee now. So I'm gonna read you the details of the coffee inside the bin. This is an Ethiopia Kalenso Blue Hora Oromia, 2,000 meters above sea level, produced by the Charissa family, by the Charissa family. It's a natural, varietal is Kurume and Heirloom, harvest date 2020, expiry date August 2021. Now I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. Alright, so it's been 7 minutes, which means we did 5 minutes brewing. It's been sitting for 2 minutes. There's not a ton of coffee in there. So the way the math works is that I'm expecting about double the weight to get absorbed by the bag, which means that if there was 10 grams of coffee in there, we're gonna lose 20 grams of water. So we end up with about 100 to 110 ml of water left inside of this cup, which might be a little bit too short, not enough coffee. So that's something to note if you are brewing older coffee, is that you are going to get less yield. And if you have no control over your dose size, then you're just going to have to live with it. So without further ado, some expired coffee. Let's give it a taste. There's definitely a lot of flavor. I think we can get away with a little bit of a bypass, or add a little bit of water in here. I'm going to do maybe a 10% bypass, so assuming that there's 110 ml in there, or let's say 100 because I took a sip. Let's put another 10 ml of water inside the coffee. Okay. Oh, that's good. That's actually really good. It opened up. So it was kind of like a scotch or a whiskey where you just put a little bit of water and it opens it up a bunch. It's not super intense. There are berry flavors. The citrus is not really there. It might be kind of like a citrus rind, a little bit almost bitter. But I'm not getting any chalky or wood stale notes in this coffee. It is sweet. It is sweet. This is actually a really good morning coffee. Just the right amount of sweetness, of excitement and fruitiness, and just the right amount of kind of very low lying chocolate notes. A little bit of baker's chocolate or like a semi-sweet chocolate, but it's just there under the surface. Up front, you still have a lot of fruit flavors. Maybe they're not as intense and describable as they were early on in the process. Now I'm trying to remember some tasting notes I had from a whole year ago, so forgive me. But generally speaking, I think that the nitrogen flush and the sealed packaging worked. Maybe also storing it in a cool, dry place also worked. And this is a really good coffee. I'm pretty happy. I thought I was not going to be able to have some great coffee today. And this is a pretty great coffee. So thank you to The Good Cup for doing this and for sending us this a year ago. But it's made for an interesting experiment. And I'm going to have some breakfast. Yeah, because of COVID protocols, they've sent breakfast to my room. And it's in a packed container with disposable utensils. Not a big fan of styrofoam, but I didn't make that choice. And inside we have our tosilog. I always get my eggs scrambled when I'm not sure how good they're going to come out. All right. So with that said, thank you for watching. That's been Brewing Some Older Coffee. The answer is it good until its expiry date? Well, this is an entire month after the expiry date, and it's still really good. I lessened the ratio, but then I bypassed, which made for some really good coffee. I do recommend the bypass because when we stopped brewing the coffee, it was already at 5 minutes, and that's when the slurry emptied. If we put another 10 ml of coffee in there, or no, it should be about 12 ml of water in during the brewing process, it might have just gone over just a little bit. It would have taken maybe another 30 seconds for it to drain down. So by bypassing it, we allowed for the water to go directly into a concentrate of coffee we already like the flavor of, and then have some good coffee. All right, thank you for watching. If you want to know more about what we do, follow along, subscribe. Hopefully we'll be able to talk about our project here soon. But while we're also here, I also unboxed a new pair and a new colorway of the Nike Zoom Freak 3, the shoe of the NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. If you missed that or if we haven't published it yet, click on the link somewhere here and follow along on Instagram. I'm at Kayo Cosio. Follow at Daily Drink Mag on Instagram and follow at Honeycomb Manila for all of the stuff that we do at Honeycomb. I wish you guys good luck. I wish you guys good health. I wish you guys a great breakfast like this one. I gotta eat it. Peace.